Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, September 2nd. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. The extreme heat continues today with a high of 96 and a chance of thunderstorms. Celebrate Tejano Heritage Month by reading about San Antonio's earliest figures in Elena Ayala's latest column. Last night, officials intensified their calls for San Antonians to stay vigilant as they celebrate this Labor Day weekend in order to avoid starting another surge of the coronavirus, as indicators continue to show the situation is improving. And now let's move on to the top stories for the day. The CDC is issuing a nationwide eviction moratorium to prevent the spread of COVID-19 through the end of the year. The CDC's new order applies to individual renters who expect to earn $99,000 or less this year, or no more than $198,000 if they're filing a joint tax return, according to the order. It also applies to renters who received a stimulus check during the pandemic or weren't required to report income to the Internal Revenue Service last year. Marina Starleaf-Riker has what San Antonio renters should know at the link in the episode's description. A lawyer representing the family of Damian Daniels, a black man shot and killed by a Bexar County deputy, called for the release of body camera footage and the name of the deputy. Lee Merritt, a national civil rights attorney, and the Daniels family met with District Attorney Joe Gonzalez. After the meeting, Gonzalez said he plans to present the case to a grand jury once the District Attorney's office completes its review. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said Tuesday that the two police officers acted appropriately in stopping and detaining a black jogger they suspected in a nearby domestic violence assault, which he did not commit. Shortly after McManus issued his defense of the officers, Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez, with the approval of both officers, asked a judge to drop criminal charges of assaulting a police officer that had been filed against Matthias Ometu. You can read Emily Eaton's full story at the link in the episode's description. San Antonio's civilian municipal employees will not get pay raises for the next 2 years under the city's upcoming budget, though they could pay lower health insurance premiums to make up for that as the city grapples with budget shortfalls spurred by the coronavirus pandemic. The city's civilian employees can breathe easy for now as layoffs and further furloughs are off the table under the city's proposed $2.9 billion budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Joshua Fechter has more information in his latest article, which you can find at the link in the episode's description. To keep our readers up to date on the path of COVID-19, the Express News has built a dashboard of interactive graphics showing the spread of the virus in the San Antonio area, in Texas as a whole, and across the United States. We've also created an interactive map of San Antonio for COVID-19 testing sites that don't require a doctor's referral. You can find a link to the dashboard and the interactive map in this episode's description. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside your Express News subscription. A bitter fight between the Port of Corpus Christi and the city of Port Aransas over plans to bring increased industrial development to Harbor Island has been settled. Descendants are honoring their San Antonio ancestors where remains were found at a downtown construction site. Although it announced Tuesday it was delaying the start of in-person athletics until October 5th because of the COVID-19 pandemic, San Antonio ISD is committed to playing its fall sports, which includes football. Texas Athletics announced layoffs, salary reductions, and other cost-saving measures due to COVID-19. The Vista Ridge pipeline is operating at near full capacity, working as designed to prove an alternative to the Edwards Aquifer. 2 days into this week, the Aggies have lost a projected starting quarterback in Elijah Blades and a veteran backup safety in Derek Tucker of Manvel. The Express News editorial board writes, quote, Damian Lamar Daniels needed mental health assistance but instead lost his life in a confrontation with Bexar County deputies. Matthias Ometu went out for a jog but ended up in jail after San Antonio police officers stopped, questioned, and detained him in response to a domestic violence assault he did not commit. Both unfortunate cases from last week underscore the need for police reform in San Antonio and Bexar County. Sales of Toyota's San Antonio-made pickups fell again in August, which the automaker blamed on having too few trucks on hand to meet demand. Metropolitan Health is warning the community of a contact tracing scam that started during the pandemic. Priscilla Aguirre has more on what to look for at the link in the episode's description. San Antonio Insurance and Financial Services Company USAA has named Jeff Wallace as its chief financial officer. The suburbs are often criticized for promoting stultifying conformity, but beyond the neatly trimmed yards and the closed doors, many homeowners create individualized, inspired spaces. Enter the Windcrest home of Susie Hamilton and Mark Salceda. She's a costume designer, wardrobe stylist, and art director for commercials. He's a guitarist for country musician John Wolfe. Richard A. Marini brings you a peek into the 1967 Windcrest home, renovated, redecorated into an ode to mid-century modern design, and Tammy Faye Baker. As the summer heat bears its own sting, chances are you've spotted your share of paper wasps buzzing around under your eaves and awnings. But you shouldn't worry about getting the business end of those stinging insects. Paper wasps mind their business if you don't butt into theirs. Rene Guzman brings you the buzz on paper wasps in his latest column. Check out our editor's picks for 10 books to read in September. This month's highlights include an essay author's debut novel and a memoir from NPR's Maria Hinojosa. Bear, a new country duo with South Texas roots, is working on a debut album for Warner Music Nashville. H-E-B's 2 new bone broth barbecue sauces should have a place in your next barbecue cookout. Check out Paul Stevens' reviews of the new sauces at the link in the episode's description. And that's all for today. That was your Express Briefing. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.